Hello, welcome back to Nostalgia Drive. This is episode 14 of my Saya no Uta playthrough. So the last time we learned more about Saya from Ogai's diary and research. So I think what's going to happen now is Koji's going to go to Fuminori's house, and I'm assuming he's going to try and track down Yo. So we'll just need to see what happens here. Koji pulls up 2 blocks away from the Sakisaka's house and stares at the silent building. In the bright light of morning, the house seems shrouded in a dark miasma, like a black hole torn out of the landscape. It's just a figment of Koji's imagination. Every window is closed, offering no glimpse of the inside. Koji has no way of knowing whenever Fuminori is home. A pedestrian walks his dog down the street, glancing back at Koji through the windshield after he passes by. Koji is not surprised by the tension. He hasn't bathed or changed clothes since spending the night buried in mud, so he must look like a vagrant even inside his car. When he looks into the rear view mirror, he sees the haggard visage of a man with one foot in the grave staring back at him. It's hard to believe that the tired, unshaven face is really his. If he stays here for too long, someone might report him to the police. He'd better pull himself together and keep moving. He drives slowly up to the front of Fuminori's house, quickly checks to make sure no one is around, and gets out of the car. Anyone who might be in the house probably heard the sound of the engine, but there's probably no point in worrying about that now. So I wonder if Fuminori and Sai is still in there, or if they already left. They might have already left, but I don't know. We'll just need to see. Koji walks swiftly through the gate and yard to the front door. He puts his hand on the doorknob, forgoing the bell. The time for such pleasantries has passed. The door is unlocked, the knob turns easily in his hand. He puts his ear to the door and listens for any sign of life. He's acting like a thief. He realises with some shame, but that is the least of his worries now. No sound from within. After checking the street again to make sure no one is looking, he quickly opens the door and disappears inside. Not this ominous music again. But it's not even music, is it? It's like just atmosphere wind. It's just, I don't like it when this game's silent at all. An indescribable stink immediately assaults his nostrils. He's already prepared for anything, however, so rather than discourage him, the stench only sharpens his caution to a razor's edge. He has crossed this threshold many times in the past, and his memories of days spent here are still bright. So why? Why does he feel the same ominous blood-chilling aura that permeated Ogai's house and cabin? Anger and sorrow seize Koji's heart, as though a dear friend's grave has been defiled. Koji doesn't remove his shoes before entering. He knows why he's here, and it's not to be polite. Every storm shutter is closed, filling the house with a gloom, and he can see nothing but pitch black darkness through the open doors in the hallway. He should have brought his flashlight from the car, he thinks ruefully, then remembers that he dropped the light when Fuminori attacked him. It's still lying in the backyard of the cabin of Tokichi. The house might be empty, then again it might not. Each particle of the air seems charged with silent menace. Is his enemy lurking somewhere in the darkness? It's not hard to imagine Fuminori waiting for the chance to take him by surprise and finish what the well failed to. So I don't know if I don't feel like Koji's going to die at this point. I just have a suspicion he's not, because if he wasn't killed in the well, I feel like he's going to survive a bit longer in this game. Koji walks down the first floor hallway, then climbs the stairs and checks the second floor too. He moves slowly and carefully, keeping his sharp senses, but feels nothing watching him from the shadows. I feel like maybe they've already left Fuminori and Saya. I feel like they must have. After completing his round safely, he's convinced that the house is empty. He suddenly realises that his right hand is touching the cold steel of the gun in his pocket? Did he intend to draw the weapon upon encounter Fuminori? Now that Koji thinks about it, his own actions seem mysterious to him. What is he planning to do when he meets Fuminori? Will he lay into him with curses and epithets? Will he force himself to turn himself in, or will he? Koji shakes his head. This isn't the time for such hopeless questions. If he keeps thinking, he'll stop moving. If he stops moving, fear will paralyse him forever. His only choice is to keep marching on. He has to close the distance to his prey. In any case, Fuminori isn't home. What form their reunion take will probably be decided at the moment of their meeting. All Koji has to do is not hesitate when the time comes. Still, why does the whole house smell like stagnant water? It's been 3 months since Fuminori distanced himself from his friends. Just what kind of life has he been leading all this time? Oh god, is he going to see the room, all the colour in the room? Koji enters the living room and feels along the wall for the light switch. The moment he flips it on, the answer to his question is revealed. Oh god, this room again. How far has Fuminori gone? Koji realises that this is the first time he's encountered Fuminori's insanity in visible form. From the dust piled in the corners of the room, it is clear that the paint was not applied recently. How many nights has Fuminori spent surrounded by this maddening array of colour? Why, if such obvious signs were available, why didn't Koji realise that something was wrong before it got this bad? Was he deaf to the dying screams of Fuminori's sanity? Was their friendship really so worthless? As he stands petrified in the unfamiliar living room, Koji directs his anger entirely at himself. If he could, he would like nothing more than to apologise for Fuminori for failing to help him through his suffering. I still think Fuminori could have said to them, but I think he just viewed them as monsters, though, to be honest, like any of his friends. Koji feels that he might have been able to save his friend. Perhaps he's arrogant to think so, but if so, it is arrogance born of kindness. Koji passes through the living room and opens the sliding door that leads to the kitchen. When he enters, he finds that the most disturbing of the house's many stenches is the strongest here. Blood. The room is redolent with the smell of countless layers of blood grown stale over time. So I'm a bit confused why Fuminori didn't decide to clean the blood up. Or I don't know if it's because he couldn't see it or not, but you'd feel like if he was trying to like hide from like either Koji, the police, or like anyone, he would try and cover his marks up with a murder. I don't know why he doesn't do that, but he peers into the well-used sink. Around the rim he sees faint brownish red blotches that water alone couldn't rinse off. Even more obvious are the stains on the dish rag. Such stains are proof that the rag has been used and reused countless times. But what could it have been used on to make it that sickening burgundy colour? Koji stares at the refrigerator next to the counter, as though it were a monster waiting to swallow him whole. He stands motionless until he is able to work up the courage simply to touch it. Then, to steel himself, grabs the thick handle and opens the door. First he'll check the freezer, then the refrigerator. No, did they actually leave the meat in it? Why would they leave the meat? I don't understand the logic really, to be honest, because if the police start catching on, they'll just look at all these as clues. I don't know why. Or they could be still in the house and they're just hiding, I don't know. The freezer is packed with frozen meat of varying shapes and sizes. As each piece is wrapped tightly and frosted over plastic, you can't tell what kind of meat it is. The meat in the refrigerator, however, has already been thawed for consumption. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. Oh, it's like covered in blood. Oh, no. No, it's so horrible. For a while, he can only stare in disbelief at the 5 fingers beckoning to him from the back of the compartment. Oh no, don't say me this is Omi's fingers. Oh god. They are long, slender fingers of a woman, their bluish tinge giving them the appearance of waxworks. Koji is unable to remember what Omi's hands looked like, even though he had kissed her fingers countless times. When he finished crying after her conversation with Fuminori, Koji promised himself that he would not cry again, and in fact he does not. He regrets his decision, however, he's indulged himself too early. He should have saved his soothing tears for this moment, and now he knows that truly nothing is sacred. At last his doubts about Fuminori have been utterly obliterated. Koji pulls Ogai's revolver out of his pocket and wraps his hand around its grip like he would a charm. Its definite presence, its purpose of merciful annihilation is the only thing keeping his sanity intact. He will surely use it to kill Sakisaka Fuminori. I don't really blame him, because if you've seen like your girlfriend just like dead in that fridge like that, it's just messed up. Not for revenge, he's not for justice, but to make the world once more a place governed by reason. For that purpose alone, he must eliminate the anomaly. He breathes deep, exhales, then lifts his hand before his face and stares at his spread fingers. Alright, he's not shaking, he's prepared to face his new objective. Koji sticks the revolver back into his pocket and pulls out his phone. No! I wonder what choice does what? I didn't even know there was been another choice. I think Roko is probably the better choice, but I just want, it's out of complete curiosity, I just want to see what happens when we call Fuminori. But what I'll do is I'll leave a save here and we can go back to the other choice just to see what happens. But I don't think Fuminori is probably the best choice to call, I really don't. I just want to see what happens. It's time to finish this. Just as he promised earlier, Koji calls Fuminori again. The call goes through immediately. Fuminori must have been waiting for it. Oh god. I wonder where he's going to meet him then. As soon as Koji responds, a shrill ringing fills the house. Startled, Koji spins around and looks into the hallway. Ah wait, so is he in the house? Fuminori. He must be. The house phone is flashing to signal an incoming call. Yeah, Fuminori would think that. Koji fell for it. Fuminori is the one calling the house, and now he knows exactly where Koji is. Oh god. He must have predicted that this would be Koji's first stop, and that Koji would call him upon finding it empty. Oh god. Koji keeps his voice bold to conceal his horror. When did Fuminori become so cunning? He Fuminori replies unapologetically, his tone upbeat. He just explains it like it's normal. Koji no longer feels sadness or horror when faced with Fuminori's inhumanity. There is only the cold desire to kill the creature speaking such revolting words with his friend's voice. Yeah, I don't blame him. Fuminori mutters, seemingly somehow embarrassed. It's even worse, he's actually explaining they actually ate Omio. Koji's already abandoned hope, but it's still a shock to hear of his lover's brutal end. My god, man. Just, you can't really talk. No. Fuminori dismissive words further sharpen Koji's
言ったはず
bloodlust.
だぞ。彼女を無事に解放しないなら。
生きているだけでもよしとしてくれよ。それとも完全に死体になったようかもしれない。
Fuminori, man, it's just that he's just completely just, I don't know, it's just really messed up now.
確認するがコーチ、お前は集めた資料の全てを証拠ともども持ってこい。その内容を見て納得できたら僕らは用を引き渡す。
There's no way he's handing me over. I'm not convinced. It's obvious that this deal is a sham. In all likelihood, Fuminori is planning to kill him and bury his secrets forever. Moreover, Koji doubts that Yo is even alive. Her meat could very well be somewhere in the refrigerator right in front of him. However, Koji isn't particularly interested in Fuminori's true intentions. After all, he has no intention of making a trade either. His only goal is to get close enough to destroy Fuminori and whatever's pulling his strings.
お前が僕を尾行してきた大貝教授の家、覚えてるだろう。今夜7時にそこで落ち合おう。
Oh, right, so they're meeting at the cabin. Ah. So I'm assuming what Fuminori is went to check is this lab of Ogai. That's the only thing I'm thinking. Fuminori hangs up without warning for Koji's response. Perhaps Fuminori too has sensed his opponent's intent. If so, then he has realised that Koji is not just the hunted, but the hunter as well. So we're like duelists manoeuvring for advantage. Koji smiles grimly as he pockets his phone. It's astounding how much the relationship has changed. The question is whenever or not to comply with the 7 o'clock rendezvous agreement. If this were a serious negotiation, then it would be wise to avoid preempting Fuminori in any way that could provoke his anger. What Koji and Fuminori are really doing, however, is trying to lure each other into a deadly trap. I don't think Koji should go though. This is probably like the worst thing you can possibly do, I think. Because Fuminori can easily set up anything when he's there. Koji doesn't know what Fuminori plans to do between now and then, but he's not about to let his enemy keep the initiative. The fierce bloodlust that's taken root in his art is more than enough to energise his exhausted body. Koji leaves the death-filled house, his stride more determined than before. Oh, so we're back to Fuminori again. Today was the first time I've driven since my accident last summer. The proposition was always too dangerous to consider given my inability to recognise roads and cars. Things have changed, however, in the 3 months I've had to adapt to my condition. I know what cars and pedestrians look like now, and even though I can't exactly see colours, I've learned to decipher lights and turn signals. I still can't read street signs, of course. Nevertheless, I managed to make it safely to our destination with Saya and you in the back seat. Right, so I think he took the neighbour's car, I remember he was saying. It was Saya who came up with the idea for a new hideout. An abandoned building she discovered while living with Dr. Ogai. In these hilly suburban residential areas, it's not hard to find thick patches of underdeveloped forest just off the beaten path. Saya's old playground is located in one such secluded area, unaffected by the flow of everyday life. It used to be a privately operated sanatorium hidden among the silent trees. After the owners went bankrupt, it remained unsold and was eventually forgotten. After I left Saya and Yo at the hideout, I returned to the town to make some preparations. Now I'm finally back to our refute. Ah, so he's going to hide Saya and Yo. That kind of makes sense, I guess, when he meets Koji. I liked this ruin from the moment I saw it. Mountains of construction, materials and garbage litter the front yard, forming a serviceable barricade This place looks even less likely to receive unwanted attention than our house. Since my brain sees humans as revolting monsters, places they've been tend to stink or seem covered in filthy slime. Rooms like these, long empty of life, are the places I find the most restful.
ただいま。
I call out to let them know I'm not a stranger, then I go down to the basement where they're hiding.
おかえりなさい。車平気だった？
もう全然問題ない。一方通行の標識もどういうのか分かったし、スピードさえ出さなければどこを走っても大丈夫だよ。で、そっちは？
一通り調べたけど、やっぱりあれからずっと人が来た様子はないみたい。ここは安全だよ。
そうか。ならいいんだけど。
I'm a little worried that this abandoned building could become a hangout for biker gangs or homeless people.
多分表に積み上げてあるゴミのせい。あれ普通の人間にはちょっと耐えられないんじゃないかな。
It doesn't bother me at all. I rather like it. In fact, but of course, normal people would feel differently.
で、文則の買い物はいいの見つかった？
ああ、もちろん。
What's up with that axe looks to him? That's horrible. It's like all like the eyes and everything on it as well. I proudly unwrap the weapon I just bought from the camping goods store. A 1 meter long wood axe, the biggest and sturdiest I could
刃
find.
渡り15センチ以上のナイフは銃刀法違反だなって張り紙してあるのに、その隣でこんなもの売ってるんだよ。お笑いだよね。
But is he going to try and kill Koji with this? That's horrible. I grip the axe with both hands, testing its dependable weight, and swing it like a baseball bat. The deadly steel blade sweeps through the air right where a person's neck would be. Yo, who's sprawled out on the floor, flinches at the sound and curls into a ball.
切れ味とかどう？硫黄で試してみたら？
What? There's no way he's going to test it in yours, eh?
それはちょっと。
I definitely wasn't expecting Saya to suggest anything so brutal.
心配いらないよ。今のような体だったら
Yo.
刃物とかの傷は割と簡単に治っちゃうから。
いや、それにしたって痛いだろ。
そっか。うん、そうだね。
I feel like there is a part of Fuminori that still sort of has a conscience about hurting to a certain degree. It must have slipped her mind completely. She smiles at the oblivious Yo as if to hide her embarrassment, then says,
でもさ、痛くされた時のようの声って、それはそれで可愛いよね。
いや、やっぱり人間に斧で切りかかるってのは気が引けるよ。
Yeah, there still is something about Fuminori that's human, I think.
そうなの？じゃあ、コウジさんは？
Or he either still has like an attachment to Yo, maybe.
そりゃだって。
It should be obvious, but I guess that Saya still
や
doesn't
つは僕には
understand.
人間に見えないから、切ろうが潰そうが平気なもんさ。
This is he's a human man.
そんなに違うんだ。
Yeah, I don't know if it really does make a whole load of difference, so I don't know if it's just because Yo's a girl or
そ
not.
うさ。人間には良心があるからね。どんなに憎い人間だろうと、人を殺すと思うとブレーキがかかるもんだ。そこが僕の称賛で。
本当に？
Saya seems awfully subdued. I guess she's concerned about what will happen when I half it out with
体
Koji.
格じゃあいつが上だし、普通に喧嘩したんじゃ勝ち目は薄いかもしれないけどね。
Yeah, I'll need to like probably act fly, I
で
think.
も、僕にとっての化け物退治が、あいつにとっては人殺しなんだ。こいつは大きいよ。あいつはきっと、最後の瞬間で隙を見せる。
なんだか不安なんだよね。そういう心理戦っていうの、確実じゃないっていうか。
Saya says softly, staring at the floor with an unusual gravity. You can never be sure how someone will react. It's dangerous to lie in that. She raises her head and looks straight at me.
やっぱり私が買った方が良くない？
I feel like it would make more sense for Saya, to be honest. Because I feel like it would be harder probably for him to try and kill Saya. I appreciate Saya's consideration, even though it could be interpreted as a lack of faith in me. She's still putting my safety above hers. Nevertheless, I can't accept her heartfelt
サヤ
suggestion.
の腕力だとさ、ヨウみたいな女の子なら楽にねじ伏せられるだろうけど、男を相手には厳しいと思う。
Seemingly to understand what I'm thinking, but then comes right back to me stubbornly press her case.
でもね、あのおじさんも最初の不意打ちはうまくいったの。大抵の人間はね、作用を見たら力が抜けて動けなくなっちゃうんだよ。
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to move if you seen what Saya actually looks like.
平気で話しかけてきたのって文則だけだよ。
まあ、それも一理あるかもな。
I can't imagine it personally, but I suppose it's possible that Saya's appearance is shocking enough to make someone lose their nerve. Suzumi was able to gain the advantage because he had the same condition as me, which let him see Saya as a cute girl. Fear doesn't necessarily make people weaker. However, depending on the situation, it can send someone into berserk rage and make them harder to put down. In other words, such a tactic would be the same sort of gamble that Saya's worried about.
こういうのはどうだろうか。
When I tell Saya the new plan that just popped into my head, her gloomy frown turns into a bright
そ
smile.
れめえやん。文則って頭いい。
I wonder what the plan
何も
is.
そこまで。
I wonder if they're going to like plan. It's not exactly a great plan, but I guess that the fact that it lessens the risk to me is enough to excite her. She's so easy to please, but that's part of what makes her so cute.
で、いつ頃来るの浩二さん。
今朝あれから電話があってさ、とりあえず関係ない場所に誘い出してある。少しじらしてやろうと思ってね。
やっぱり暗くなってからがいいよね。
Oh, it's gonna. Right. It's probably the better time at dark, I guess.
頃合いを見計らってここに誘い出して仕留めよう。ここなら誰にも気づかれないからね。
せっかく人間一人分の肉が仕入れられるのに、ここだと腐らせちゃうね。冷蔵庫ないし。
They don't have a refrigerator.
他の動物を誘う餌にできないか。野良猫とかカラスをおびき寄せてさ。
それ危ないよ。万が一取り逃した時、よそに持っていかれて他人に見つかったら大騒ぎになるよ。
They've already left like clothes in the house,
そ
so
っか。
that's the thing I don't get.
それもそうだ。
Humans are extremely dangerous, and their filthy, stinking bodies make me sick just by being nearby. Ironically, however, nothing tastes better than their meat. I truly regret having to abandon our well-stocked fridge.
まあ、この辺だと森にもいろいろと住んでるから、そんなに食事には困らないんじゃないかな。
I can probably just eat
3
animals.
人分だよ。大丈夫かい？
任せて。これでもさや、狩りは得意なんだから。頑張っていっぱい捕まえてくるよ。
そうか。じゃあ、今日からはサヤが一家の大黒柱だな。
へへ。
Saya giggles happily at my praise. I find these child qualities of her adorable.
今度はどのぐらいのんびりできるかな。
Because of the casual way she says it, I almost miss the emptiness to which her
ど
question
のぐら
leads.
いかな。
Yeah, they're going to be need to constantly running and hiding. Saya's right, this won't last forever. No matter how safe this hideout might seem, we will have to abandon it eventually. The slightest mistake could put our life together in jeopardy, just like when I failed to silence Koji. Some dumb kids might decide that this old ruin is a good place to test their courage, or this land might be targeted for new development. In order to be together with Saya, I've chosen to live apart from society. We will never find lasting peace in this world teeming with humans, not unless we can somehow escape from
長
it.
い旅だと思えばいいさ。
I pull Saya into my arms and fold my hands around her slender shoulders, then
どうせ
whisper,
人生なんて旅みたいなものなんだ。永遠に変わらない場所なんてない。時の流れを見送るか、自分自身が流れていくか。 それだけの違いだよ。
そうだよね。
Saya smiles softly, perhaps in recognition, perhaps in sadness. Either way, there is peace, contentment in her expression.
それでも一人ぼっちじゃないし。だからさやは寂しくなんかないよ。文則もそうだよね。
あ
I have no regrets. As long as I can hold Saya in my arms, I will gladly pay any price.
それにね、
She adds brightly, trying to cheer
い
me
つ
up.
かは私たちが人目を忍んで暮らさなくてもよくなる日がきっと来るよ。それは約束してあげるから。
It sounds like a fairy tale, but for some reason she seems absolutely certain.
それは明日かもしれないし、ずっと先のことかもしれない。いつ印が来るのか私にもわからないの。ほんのちょっぴり怖いんだけどね。
I've no idea what Saya's prophetic words mean, but this isn't the first time that she's said or done something mysterious. She's performed any number of miracles already.
僕らにも希望があるのかい？
She says with a cheerful nod.
きっとそれがさやが文則に送ってあげられる最後のプレゼント。さやの最初で最後の務め。
Right, so I think this is probably a good point to wait, so we'll just need to see what happens next, but it seems like Koji is back at Ogai's study now. So we'll just need to see what happens with this confrontation between Fuminori and Koji. But I have a suspicion that this is a separate route and maybe Koji ends up getting killed with Fuminori and Saya, because I think the correct choice must have been to contact Ryoko. But we'll just need to see what happens. But I'll see you in the next episode of Saya no Uta. Bye!